Good to meet you. I have hopefully a simple question, but it is kind of weird. When I built my PC, I got both a 970 Evo Samsung SSD, and I also got an Intel Optane 280 gig NVMe SSD.
Well, that's not really a question, is it?
Well, the question is, I'm using it as a cache, a read-write cache for my 970. Is that really getting me any benefit? Should I just ditch that and get a higher capacity SSD? Because I feel like...
as a cache for your 970, you're using an Optane cache? No, I would actually not recommend that use case. And the only reason I know this is because when I went to Intel's Optane launch event, back when they first released, what was it, the H10 or whatever that initial Optane cache drive they released was, the little tiny 16 or 32 gig one or whatever it was. I specifically asked them the same thing. I was like, hey, whoa, could I use this as a cache for my SSD? And on a data center scale, absolutely. Absolutely. You would use Optane as this in-between NAND and CPU cache, you would use it as this in-between NAND flash and DRAM layer. But a problem is that Optane connected to an NVMe interface doesn't have the same kind of advantages as Optane plugged into a memory slot, right?
Got it. Okay.
So Optane, the actual, the packages that are soldered to your drive, Optane is fast enough to serve that role, but it's going to be let down by the fact that it's running over the same NVMe interface as your as your NAND SSD is already anyway. And number two is that you're adding the extra overhead of moving things in and out of this cache, promoting and demoting them. I don't foresee that being beneficial. And you asked about, should I just get a higher capacity SSD? Well, when you add an Optane drive as a cache, my understanding is that it doesn't contribute additional capacity anyway.
Correct. It's not in RAID 0. It's purely, I'm using a Primo cache to perform this. And so I can turn that off, unplug it, use something else for my only other NVMe slot. And yeah, that's the big...
Can I pitch you a crazy idea?
I like crazy.
If you already know how to use Primo cache and you already have that Optane SSD and that 970 Evo anyway, if what you really want is more capacity, why don't you just get a hard drive? Get a hard drive, use Primo cache with that, because you will be blown away by how responsive a hard drive feels when you have that is a huge Optane drive.
Yeah.
If you threw that on your hard drive as a cache, you'd be blown away by how it performs.
Okay.
Honestly, if it was me, I'd probably go Optane for my boot drive, and then I would use my SSD to cache my hard drive.
I was thinking about that too. That makes sense.
But you could experiment with it both ways and see how it goes. I think that's your best bet. Don't waste money on a high-cap SSD if you're comfortable with the concept of caching and if you already have a Primo cache license.
Okay, yeah, I think that's perfect. Thank you so much, Linus.
All right, no problem. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.